Hello everyone. Today we are discussing on the topic what are the common mistakes which you should avoid during your articleship period. So we go point by point. The first point is you should not run to start your tuitions or classes just after joining your articleship period. So I've seen a lot of people who start their articleship after your joining articleship, you'll just go and join classes which your friends are joining because just there's the herd mentality which everybody follows कि अगर उसने join किया तो मैं भी join कर लेता हूँ. I will strongly say that you should not join because माना कि CA का course is very lengthy, but it's not that lengthy कि you have to start your classes just at the beginning only. So you should not give much focus and start only towards studies because there are 3 years from down the line. So first important thing would be you to join your work and understand what is happening there, what happens over there, and how work is done. And that's the way you will able to balance out things. First, you will spend 5 6 months in your work. You will try to understand ki how work has to be done, how you have to manage coming to office and spending time over here because everybody joins articleship. Whenever everybody joins articleship, that's the first job you are working at. So don't ruin that in the beginning only. So that's for first thing, and the balance you will have to maintain going forward. You will have to join classes. Then that's the way you will maintain your balance automatically.
Right. Coming to the second mistake to avoid during articleship, not giving 100% to your first attempt is definitely a disaster. What I would suggest is don't waste your exam weeks because those first 6 months or 5 months, or let's say 3 months, whichever you get, you have to utilize it to the best. And that is to say that you have to give complete 100% dedication to your first attempt.
Right. So third point. So don't be focused too much on work or too much on studies only. There has to be a balance and don't mix things. Like you should not be while in your work hours, you should not be studying and during your study time, which usually happens in the night, you should not be working that time. I think you will have to maintain that balance and there are certain times when you have to give importance to work more than the studies. I agree that, but that depends on the situation. But ultimately, you don't have to create a situation that always you are focusing on work more and studies less. I think it's better to make clear these things initially with your seniors that your studies are again important thing and you will have to give time balance it out because you have to clear your exams first because every boss will try to get his or her work done, but ultimately you have to clear exams.
Okay, coming to the next one. The next one is if you're not happy or if you're not satisfied with the articleship experience that you're getting in the first year, you must switch and you must switch ASAP. By that, I'll give a personal experience which happened to me. I was a part of statutory audit first and I wasn't that keen into it. And later on, I decided to switch into internal audit. So had I been stuck in statutory audit for 2 more years, it would have been a complete disaster and wouldn't have been fruitful in my journey as well. So my advice is if you're not happy in your first year of articleship, then you must switch.
Also, in relation to that point, I'll mention the next point. So don't feel inferior or feel something like that. If you are in one department, then you are not able to learn other department things or something like that. Because if you're working in a big four firms or even the small mid-sized type of firms, usually they will put you in one department and you'll have to work in that department. And there's very difficult to internally also shift to other department. If it's not suiting you, you may shift because even I have done that. Even I've done my articleship first year in audit in Deloitte, and then I shifted to mergers and acquisition tax and KPMG. So there's no hard and fast rule. If you have joined any particular department, then you have to continue in that department. But at the same time, if you are working in a particular department, then try to be best at it. So because even in future people will go for a special people always go for a specialization. There'll be audit partner, there'll be tax partner, there is a specialization. But if you think that you want to start your own firm, then it's better to have a overview of all the departments by working in a small or a mid-sized firm, which gives you an exposure to everything. But if you think that you want to be a specialized in a particular department, then I think going in a bigger firm is not a problem because ultimately everybody will be a specialized in something or other.
Right. Now, coming to the next mistake that you should totally avoid during your articleship period. It's really important to get your fundamentals right. And also, you need to really respect your seniors. By that, I mean you have to become a little thick-skinned because you have to adjust to a lot of new atmosphere, new environment at work. And in the meanwhile, there could be friction between you and your partner or your senior. So in that case, I would like to suggest is that you need to find a balance between your work life and your your studies life. And with that, you need to really respect your senior and maintain a cordial relation with him or her. And that's how you can strike a balance and take up your studies, as well as you can have a good articleship experience.
Next point, which was very important, I may have lagged also, that is networking. Networking is the most important thing when you are in articleship. Networking is very important. You have to know people who are around you, which department they're working in. It's best to go with your first articles, know your articles who are around you, know which department they're working in, what do they work. Because ultimately, when in future, 10 years down the line, you should know which person is working in which department, and you can just make a call and try to understand things if you are confused or if you want to have a knowledge or something like that. Because ultimately, you may be a specialized person in one thing, but if you know who is the specialized in this particular department, which may come up to you also sometime, a work may come. So you should know who's working where, and that's how you have to network, and that's a very important thing which you should follow just from the start when you are joining articleship, and it's very important. I can say now.
Certainly, certainly, Siddhant. Now, coming to the last point, this is particularly for all the Big Four people who are, doing the articleship from Big Fours. So there's this thing that we tend to run behind awards and recognitions, especially during Big Fours. I think it happens in industry as well. So one thing that I would like to say is do not do that. I mean, your main focus should be your studies and clearing your exams in the first attempt. That should be the main goal rather than running behind awards and recognition. It is not gonna be fruitful for you. So that's the last thing, and that's about it.
So I'll just add one more point. So in the end, towards your end of your articleship, what is more important is planning is very important. So when you are ending your articleship, when you have to go for your leaves, you should plan at how will you do your studies in those periods. So it's better to start early and try to make a plan out. Okay, how will I study in how many months, and that will be required. And also, I should mention this that you don't need to have too much long leaves also. Because I've seen people who have 1 year leaves also for your exams. But I think that's not required. 5 to 6 months is enough. Even people have done and secured rank in 3 months of studies who usually go for an industrial training. So there's no hard and fast rule. Ke you need 5 months, 6 months. But ultimately, I'll say don't take too long leaves because you will only become very bored of studying everything. So it's better to take a normal leaves and plan it out that how much time will you require to clear the exams. So yeah, that's the last point. And if you think if anybody CA is watching this video, and if you think that there are certain more points which you also want to mention, you can mention those in comments so that the juniors that will be helpful, very helpful for our juniors. Thank
And
you.
don't forget to like, share, and subscribe this video. Thank you so much
Yeah,
from
that's normal line for YouTube.
yeah.